Well, at the top of my little hill, a line of these firs strikes out and runs towards the sea, for there is a ridge that goes that way. And the ridge ends in a rather well-defined mound, commanding the level fields of rough grass, and a little knot of fir trees crowns it. And here you may sit on a hot spring day, very well content to look at the blue sea, white windmills, red cottages, bright green grass, church tower, and distant... There was a gay white windmill just before you came to the station, and another down near the shingle at the south end of the town, and yet others on higher ground to the north. There were cottages of bright red brick with slate roofs. But why do I encumber you with these commonplace details? The fact is that they come crowding to the point of the pencil when it begins to write of Seaburgh. I should like to be sure that I'd allowed the right ones to get onto the paper. But I forgot. I have not quite done with the word-painting business yet. Walk away from the sea and the town, past the station, and turn up the road on the right. It is a sandy road, parallel with the railway, and if you follow it, it climbs to somewhat higher ground. Towards the sea is a belt of old firs, wind-beaten, thick at the top, with the slope that old seaside trees have. Seen on the skyline from the train, they would tell you in an instant, if you did not know it, that you were approaching a windy coast. The eternal whisper of the Scotch firs just above us, and of the sea in front. Yet in all this quiet and acute and acrid consciousness of a restrained hostility very near us, like a dog on a leash that might be let go at any moment. I know something about digging in these barrows. I've opened many of them in the down country. But that was with owner's leave, and in broad daylight, and with men to help. I had to prospect very carefully here before I put the spade in. I couldn't trench across the mound, and with those old firs growing there, I knew there would be awkward tree roots. Still, the soil was very light and sandy and easy, and there was a rabbit hole or so that might be developed into a sort of tunnel. The going out and coming back at odd hours to the hotel was going to be the awkward part. I can now say I have seen an actual Anglo-Saxon crown. It was of silver, as the Rendlesham one is always said to have been. It was set with some gems, mostly antique intaglios and cameos, and was of rather plain, almost rough workmanship. In fact, it was like those you see on the coins and in the manuscripts. I found no reason to think it was later than the 9th century. There was always somebody, a man, standing by one of the firs. This was in daylight, you know. He was never in front. Them's the 3 holy crowns, what was buried in the ground near by the coast to keep the Germans from landing. I can see you don't believe that. But I tell you, if it hadn't been for one of them holy crowns being there still, them Germans would have landed here time and time again, they would. Landed with their ships, killed men, woman and child in their beds. Now then, that's the truth, what I'm telling you, that is. And if you don't believe me, ask the rector. Here he comes. You asked him, I says. I looked round. When I was making the tunnel, of course it was worse. And if I hadn't been so keen, I should have dropped the whole thing and run. It was like someone scraping at my back all the time. I thought for a long time it was only soil dropping on me, but as I got nearer the crown, it was unmistakable. And when I actually laid it bare and got my fingers into the ring of it and pulled it out, there came a sort of cry behind me. Oh, can't tell you how desolate it was.